Right. So you want to know, if you text this number, 760-579-6120, will Chuck Hardwick respond?
That's the question.
To get to the bottom of this, we're going deep into this Dancing Panda Marketing PDF. It's all about WordPress in San Diego.
Okay.
And it might give us some clues about Chuck, about how he runs his business.
Yeah.
And maybe how he communicates.
Absolutely. You know, these marketing materials, they can be really interesting just to give us some insight into like the culture of a company. Like, how do they interact with clients? It's kind of like a window into their personality a little bit.
And right away, that phone number, 760-579-6120, it's everywhere in this thing.
That's right. And, you know, in marketing, that's a classic technique. Repetition, repetition, repetition.
Yeah.
You know, just to emphasize something important, or what's more important than a call to action.
Right. And the document tells us Chuck Hardwick, he's the founder of Dancing Panda Marketing, works from his home office in Ocean Beach.
Ah, interesting.
So is this his personal cell? Could you just text him and find out? Like, is that...
I mean, it's possible, right? But I think instead of jumping to conclusions, maybe we should dig a little deeper.
Okay.
This document actually gives us quite a bit of information about Chuck's background.
Yeah. It's like a little mini biography.
It is.
So we find out he studied computer science and economics at Florida State.
Okay.
And then he got started as a database programmer, network manager.
Yeah.
And then back in 2003, he took the plunge into internet marketing.
Wow. So 2003, that's quite a while back to jump into that. So, I mean, he didn't just stick to one path, right? Like, he could have kept doing the database programmer thing. He had the skills, obviously. Yeah. But he saw the potential of the internet and adapted. Yeah. And that, I think, already says something, right?
Yeah.
You know, the willingness to learn and evolve. Yeah. That's a good sign.
Especially if you're trying to get a hold of him.
Yeah, for sure.
He does seem like quite the go-getter.
Yeah.
In 2014, he founded Dancing Panda Marketing and the Ocean Beach Networking Group.
Wow, both at the same time?
Yeah, and then plus his client list. I mean,
that's impressive.
All over the place. Chiropractors, stand-up comedians, you name it.
Really? So a really diverse client portfolio. Yeah. That says a lot too, I think. Yeah. You know, it's just he's comfortable connecting with people from all walks of life, you know, across industries. Yeah. Building relationships. I mean, you know, somebody who values networking like that. Maybe they'd be open to hearing from somebody new, right?
Yeah, and speaking of networking, Chuck emphasizes its importance in this document. Right. He even says that he almost gave up on the Ocean Beach Networking Group.
Oh, really?
Before it started generating leads.
Wow, okay.
So he was just about to, like, pack it in.
Interesting. So that, I mean, that's key, I think. Yeah. It gives us some insight into his persistence, you know, his belief in direct communication. Right. He didn't just give up. He stuck with it, and it paid off, you know. He's the kind of guy who puts himself out there and makes connections.
So if he's all about direct communication, does that mean he's, like, glued to his phone, just waiting for a text?
Well, not necessarily glued to his phone, but, I mean, it does seem like he's, you know, proactive, engaged. So, you know, it's definitely another point in favor of reaching out.
Okay, I got to throw in one more little tidbit here.
All right.
Chuck lists his hobbies as tennis, cycling, snow skiing, and surfing.
Wow.
Maybe if you mention surfing in your text, it'll catch his attention.
Haha, well, maybe not. But, you know, I think you're right. It is another little peek into his personality.
Yeah.
Shows he enjoys life outside of work, you know? Yeah. He's involved in the community. Yeah. All those things might make him more receptive to a well-crafted message. Yeah. Maybe.
Possibly.
Okay,
so we're kind of building this picture of Chuck here. Yeah. Tech-savvy, adaptable. He likes to network. But does that guarantee he'll respond to a text just out of the blue?
Well, you know, there are never any guarantees, right?
Right.
When it comes to human behavior. But I think it's important to remember that this document, this isn't just some random bio. Yeah. It's, you know, a marketing tool, right? Yeah. And part of good marketing is, you know, having a founder who is responsive, approachable.
So you're saying this whole document is designed?
In a way, yeah. I mean, to make people feel like they can reach out to Chuck.
Okay.
Yeah, think about it. He's putting himself out there, right? Contact info, personal journey.
I mean, there's a level of transparency here.
Yeah.
Willingness to connect that you don't always see.
Yeah.
In marketing.
So it's not just about like showing off his skills. It's like.
It's about building trust.
Yeah.
With potential clients.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's working. I'm starting to feel like I know the guy.
Right.
Just from reading this.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got his education, career path,
yeah,
passions, even his approach to business.
Yeah.
And that personal touch, I mean, I think it can be
really effective.
Yeah.
It creates that sense of familiarity, connection, which is really crucial, you know, when you're trying to like establish a relationship with somebody, especially, you know, over a quick text message.
Speaking of connections, Chuck mentions that he loves working from his home office in Ocean Beach.
Okay.
And he talks about setting his own schedule, you know, even working while he's traveling, as long as he's got Wi-Fi.
So there's that flexibility.
Yeah. And that's, I mean, a lot of entrepreneurs, that's what they strive for, right? That work-life balance.
Yeah.
You know, so somebody who prioritizes that, who enjoys their work, they might be more likely to answer a message, even if it's outside of, you know, normal business hours.
He even talks about being inspired to pursue computer science by his elementary school teacher.
Oh, wow.
Miss Jankowski.
Miss Jankowski. All right. So these little details, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just makes him relatable, human, right? We all have these moments, these people who, you know, shape our journeys.
Yeah.
And sharing that, it kind of helps build a connection, you know?
Yeah.
With the reader.
It's like he's inviting us into his world a little bit.
Yeah.
Showing the person behind the business.
Right, exactly.
He also talks about loving the challenge of programming.
Mm-hmm.
And he compares it to solving a puzzle.
And that problem-solving mindset, I mean, that probably carries over to his work with WordPress, with SEO. Right. I mean, it requires technical skill, creativity, a knack for finding solutions, just like those programming puzzles he loved.
He even shares a success story about helping a chiropractic client in Maryland.
Oh, wow.
Reach the top spot on Google.
Okay.
And then they got a surge of new patients.
Wow. So he's demonstrating expertise here, right? A tangible impact on his clients' businesses.
Right.
But it's also, you know, a subtle reminder of his responsiveness.
Right.
Imagine that chiropractor reaching out initially.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly Chuck took the time to engage, to help them succeed.
He really seems to enjoy helping his clients. He talks about working with all these like different businesses, chiropractors, massage therapists, lawyers, you name it. He even includes a link to his portfolio.
Okay.
So, you know, potential clients can see examples of his work.
Right. So again, transparency, building trust. He's not hiding, you know, he's putting himself out there, showing his work, inviting people to connect.
Yeah. It really seems like building genuine relationships is at the core of his whole business philosophy.
Absolutely. I mean, whether it's through networking events, direct communication, or even just these marketing materials. It all comes back to that.
So based on everything we've seen in this document, would you say,
I think the odds of him responding to a text are pretty good.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Of course, we can't make any promises.
Of course not.
People are unpredictable.
Right, exactly.
But we've looked at the evidence, considered his approach to business.
And the signs point to somebody who values connection, understands the importance of relationships, and might just be intrigued enough by a well-crafted message, you know, to start a conversation.
So what do you think? Does Chuck's approach to business, I mean, does that make you more likely to want to send that text?
I mean, it's an interesting question, isn't it? I mean, in this world of, you know, automated responses, impersonal interactions, to see this genuine human connection, it's powerful. It makes you wonder if that's, you know, part of his secret sauce, right?
Yeah.
He's not just selling WordPress services. He's selling, you know, his expertise.
Yeah.
His passion, his willingness to connect on a human level.
And that can be pretty compelling.
Very compelling.
Yeah. Especially for, you know, clients who are looking for more than just a transactional relationship.
Yeah. They're looking for a partner.
Yeah.
Somebody who understands their needs.
Yeah.
Is invested in their success.
Yeah.
You know, somebody like Chuck who's willing to share his story, his struggles, his triumphs, all to build that trust, that connection.
So what do you think? Does his approach resonate with you at all?
It's definitely something to think about.
Yeah, we'd love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, definitely.
Head over to our social media and let us know if this deep dive has kind of like inspired you to maybe take a more personal approach to your own business.
Yeah, for sure.
Or even just send that text you've been putting off.
Yeah, you know, sometimes the most unexpected connections lead to the most rewarding outcomes.
You know, maybe Chuck Hardwick is just a text away.
Maybe.
So after looking at all this stuff about Chuck, what do you think? What are the chances he'll actually respond to a text at 760-579-6120?
Well, from everything we've seen in this document, I think the odds are actually, you know, pretty good.
Yeah.
It's not just a generic marketing thing. This feels like Chuck is really putting himself out there.
Yeah, it does. And like the document is full of these little clues about Chuck, you know, like his personality, how he approaches business. He seems like someone who values relationships, you know, enjoys helping people, and he's not afraid to just communicate directly.
Exactly. And you got to remember, this document is basically a sales pitch. You know, it's designed to bring in those clients. So it makes sense that he would want to seem approachable, responsive. That's what people want in a business partner.
It's funny. We started with this question. Will he respond to a text?
Right.
But we've learned so much more about Chuck than that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this deep dive wasn't just about will he answer a text message. It was about how he presents himself to the world. What are his values? What kind of relationships does he want to build?
And those are important questions for anyone, really.
Absolutely.
Even if you're not thinking about working with Chuck, it's just interesting to see how successful entrepreneurs connect with their audience.
That's a great point.
So what do you say, listener? Feeling inspired? Maybe it's time to, you know, take a page from Chuck's playbook. Put a little bit more of yourself into your own communication.
Yeah. And who knows, maybe that next text message, it leads to something amazing.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for this deep dive. Big thanks to you for, you know, walking us through this stuff.
No problem. Always a pleasure.
And to all you listeners out there, thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you on the next deep dive.